Thank you so much, Sophia, for telling me that you couldn't hear me. That means everything I was saying was on mute. I really want to start this all over, but I can't. All right, so now I'm going to go back into it again. So the first thing I talked about was the actual W-4s. Throughout the year, you have employees who play with their W-4s all year. They've moved, they didn't update their W-4s. And meanwhile, it's tax season. So you want to get your your business clients to make sure that they reach out to their employees to get updated information. Again, this is the actual W-4 that you're going to need for your W-2. You charge for this. You charge to reconcile it, and you charge to make sure that all these forms are done correctly, because the last thing an employer wants to do is have to do W-2s all over again because there is an issue. So that's one way for tax pros to make money, is by reconciling your W-4s to make sure your W-2s are going to be correct. So now, that's just one small thing. The next thing we want to make sure we do is those W-9s. So one thing that most people do not do is, before you pay out a contractor, you really should get that W-9 done and have everything ready so the 1099 is smooth sailing. But most people think that you don't do the W-9 as soon as you pay them or before you pay them. So when it comes to the end of the year, they don't have W-9s, so they can't produce 1099s. These are business tax forms that need to be filed. You can actually make $25 to $50 per form, depending on how many your client has. So it's another form of how you can make money as a business tax professional who's working with business tax clients to take care of their business tax forms. Everyone thinks when it comes to business taxes, you only have your 1120 for your C Corps, your 1120S, your 990s, your 1065. I mean, I can keep going on. Those are not the only forms. Your Schedule C's, no. Those are not. Those are tax season forms. You need to have certain forms done before tax season, and you can make money if you know how to process these forms. So another payroll form that needs to be reconciled is the 940s and the 941s. So 941s you can start reconciling to make sure you have all your 941s correct up into the third quarter. This is something that you should be doing on a regular basis. I'm getting texts all over the place. And you take the 941s and you take your payroll reports and you make sure they're equal. Why do you do this? Because here you go. It's the end of the quarter for the year. It's the end of the year, and you want to true up all these figures. If you owe an employee, you want to make sure you pay them. If you made adjustments, you want to make sure that those adjustments are picked up by your payroll company. Most people don't know you can do this. Just think of getting $250 an hour just for reconciling payroll reports. These are things you want to make sure you can do. So, what have I talked about so far? W-4s, you want to make sure that your business tax clients send out information to their employees, making sure that those W-4s are correct so that those W-2s can be correct. You want to pull out your tax reports to make sure that those numbers are equaling all around. So some of you don't know, but the W-2s and the 941s, they should all equal. Even some of the figures in the 940, but I'm not going to go through those right now. But these are things you should be doing year in to make sure that everything is matching. Then I talked about the W-9s, which are from contractors, that you should be getting before you pay people. That a lot of people are forgetting all about these. That is $50 a form. You want to make sure you got all your forms ahead of time. And those that you don't get, you want to make sure you get, because you need to make sure you got that EIN number. You want to make sure you have names and addresses correct. You want to get an email nowadays because you can file those electronically and you can send them electronically. So you want to make sure that you got these different documents together as well. You want to go through your state documents. Remember, download these, or you should download them every quarter. But at the end of the year, you want to make sure you have all this downloaded, because I have a client right now who has the IRS coming after them saying that they did not file certain 941s. The good thing is I already have them in his file. I've already put them in the portal for him to take and just upload to the IRS. But if you do not have those records, you want to go onto your payroll account and get those. And if you have clients that on payroll 1 month, then they want to come off the next month and on payroll again, those are your problem clients. Those are the clients that are going to be missing 941s. You can charge $250 per form that you have to fill out. I don't care if it has to be a zero form, you still want to make sure you do those zero forms. So now we've gone through those, and now let's talk about regular business tax clients. So we have Schedule Cs, and everyone is like, how much do you charge for a Schedule C? Now, I've seen people talking about they charge $150 for a Schedule C, and I'm like, this is how we can tell that you are new in the industry. There is no way a Schedule C should be $150. If you are working with business tax clients, and if you are working with Schedule Cs, number one, there are many women and men on Facebook right now that are giving these due diligence classes, and you should know what you need to have. And if you already have a client and you know your client is an LLC, and if they're a single member LLC, that you should be doing a Schedule C, you should be getting prepared to get their bank statements now. If you did not do any bookkeeping, and I'm telling you, I'm totally against it. But if you got a lot of tax pros are getting clients and doing their taxes at the end of the year and trying to do their bookkeeping at the end of the year. Again, I may frown upon it, but if you're going to do it, let's get everything done correctly so that you can kind of recreate a P&L for them. And again, I'm totally against this, but you got to do something for your tax clients. And it does not cost $150. Why are you charging $150 for Schedule C? Because you're new in the industry and you don't know how much you really should be charging. Now, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I don't charge anything less than $550 for a Schedule C client. If you call yourself a business, I'm going to treat you like a business. That's the fees you're going to pay to be a business owner. There are Schedule C clients that make good money. They make over $250,000, over $500,000. Those are not $550. Some of those are not even $750. They can go $750. They can go $1,000. But what you want to do is make sure you're charging the right fees. Don't undercharge. You're messing up the industry because you're not sure what to do. And so you just throwing out any rate and people are paying you. Please, Schedule C, single member. Try starting them at $550. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I have some clients that barely did anything as a Schedule C owner, and I may do it for $350. But to most of my clients, they start $550, they go up. Now, let's talk about a partnership, basically LLC. It's not called a partnership LLC, but I'm just going to say that so that you understand. This means an LLC that has multiple partners. Yes, W-4. Sophia, that's absolutely correct. So W-4s have to be completed correctly to get your W-2s. W-9s have to be done correctly to get 1099s. You do know it has to, and we're just talking about the 1099 NEC. The NEC, that has to be over $600. That has to be filed. You should have those submitted out by the end of January, but you have up to the middle of February to make sure those items are actually filed correctly. So, Sophia, you're absolutely correct. So now I'm going to go back to the multi-member LLCs that file a 1065 and they get a K1 schedule. Listen, those of you doing 1065 for under $550, again, you're messing up the industry. Please stop. Jump on someone's training course. I'm letting you know that I am having one with some of my ladies in January, and I will talk about it later. It's $350, but you get to understand your bookkeeping, how your bookkeeping correlates to your taxes. You get to do, we're doing the S Corp 1120S. We're doing a 1040. You already know what 1120S comes to K1 schedule. That's being filed. And a Schedule C. These are going to be mock tax returns that we are going to do. Hands on. Don't come on our webinar and think you're listening. No, we're working. working with an E. All right. So I've already gone through those. Now I'm going to talk about your S corps. Who does S corps under $1,000 and why? Why? Again, those of you that are new in the industry, get on a course. I'm gonna constantly keep saying, get on a course and learn how to do these tax returns, these business tax returns correctly. You also have to understand that when you're doing these, I don't care if it's a Schedule C client, an S corp, a corporation, a nonprofit, you should be looking at your balance sheet and your profit and loss. You should be looking at the trial balance. That's one of those that help you most when you're working on tax returns. You should know how to read all of these different reports. You need these reports. You need these. And then a lot of you, you're working off of a spreadsheet. You're missing deductions. You're not looking to see if any deposits, if they were income or was it deposit more of an investment. So a number of people are paying taxes on money they deposited into their own business. That's absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Do these clients correct. Make sure they don't get audited. Charge your rate. Charge the rate. And charge a comparable rate. Not none of this $500, $300. No, that's not what S corps get. And clients go ahead and use you at the same time, but then they're like, oh wait, not even 3 years down the line, they're wondering why they're being audited. They paid the cheapest. You did the taxes. You didn't pay to take a course to help you charge the right rate. So I want you all, again, business taxes is definitely the way to go, but let's do it correct so we can make some money. Now we go into 990s. There are so many different types of 990s. 990N, 990EZ, 990. You have to understand the forms you have. A postcard is just saying, okay, I'm a nonprofit. Then I believe it's under 50,000 is the easy form. I'll look, don't quote me on it. There's an N. The whole thing is you want to make sure that you are doing all of these tax forms correctly. Even if a not-for-profit did not have any activity at all during the year, you still have to file that postcard. Now, some softwares, they do them, some do not. You got to know what you're working with. You have to, business tax clients should have bookkeeping. I'm going to continuously keep saying that. Why are you working on business tax clients that have nothing? Then you have to figure out what kind of business tax clients you want to work on. Don't jump into a business tax client that does inventory and sales, because if you don't understand inventory and sales, how are you going to do that business tax client correctly? Again, I'm just going into different kind of business taxes you can do in business tax clients that you may have. So if you got an e-commerce, that means Wix, Shopify. If they're selling something, the end of the year is coming. They're supposed to close for a day to count their inventory. How many of you understand that? I'll say this again. They're supposed to count inventory the end of the year. They really should be counting inventory at a minimum of quarterly and then at the end of the year, because you need those figures. You need to know the purchases, because this helps you with the cost of goods sold. Now you understand why you can charge a certain amount for business tax clients, because they're truthfully very involved. There's no way you have someone that have physical things that they are selling and you don't do these things. So this is when I talk about know the value of your business tax client. Know the form you got to complete. Know what you got to complete. Excuse me. Know what you need to complete within the form, so that you're charging your worth and you're doing what you need to do for the client. These things, they aren't simple. I'm not going to act like they are. Sometimes you can get a simple return to work with. Sometimes you don't. But what the thing is you got to know what you're working with. Now, notice I didn't talk much about C Corps. You know why? because I don't dabble in C Corps. You want to know why? Because I don't, it's not my niche. It's not something that I feel comfortable going in and working with on some business client where I can turn around and do something wrong and then end up them owing more money than they should because I don't know all the tax deductions and credits that they're eligible for. Stop jumping into these business tax clients. You're messing up clients' future all to make money. That's not what you do. So now you got this e-commerce client. Do you know there are reports that you pull off of these platforms, off of Wix, off of Shopify, off of Etsy, whatever it is? Do you know you have to back into these figures? Do you know you should be keeping track of the purchases? Do you know the cost of goods sold? If they're shipping, that's part of cost of goods sold. These are figures that you need to have. Again, I'm just talking right now, but you once you finish listening to what I'm saying, go pull a client and go look. And we're gonna talk about sales tax. If you collect sales tax, you're supposed to pay sales tax. I'm gonna say that again. If you collect sales tax, you're supposed to pay sales tax out to the state. That sales tax is not for you for your client to pocket the money. Every either monthly or quarterly, you have to see what frequency your client is on and file your client's sales tax. That does not go on your tax return. Mm-mm. Because it comes in and you pay it right back out. That's not income to you. You don't keep that in your pocket. Well, your client does not keep that in your pocket. Sales tax is another form that you file. And most sales tax you can do for $250 a month, $250 a quarter. It's another way for you to make money because it's another business tax that you need to know about. Now, I can sit here and go on about sales tax and payroll taxes. I didn't talk about quarterly taxes because those are different, but they are a business tax that you can charge for. Why? Because you're calculating a client's actual quarterly taxes that they should be paying to the federal and the state. So when I see here again, I'm talking about money missing as a business, a client, a tax preparer working on a business client. That's another form of income for you that you need to be knowledgeable of before you just jump into it. Do you all know the rate that's used for calculating estimated quarterly taxes? It's not even a full 100%. Nevertheless, you need to learn how to calculate quarterly taxes so your client can file quarterly taxes quarterly. And those quarterly taxes go on the actual tax return and get deducted from the actual payment that's supposed to be paid. It's called being knowledgeable and then being able to read a form. You can start from somewhere. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that these things can be done. It just takes you to invest a little money into somebody. There are too many people out here training. I can sit here and name so many people in the tax EFIN bosses that are training. I see people in the co-working space training. I see people in legend tax preparers. They're offering these courses. Learn the courses. Learn what you can do year in to make money right now. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am swamped. My girl called me today, was like, you always work. And I'm like, yo, that's because I do bookkeeping and business taxes. So there's always money to be made. You just got to learn how to do it and do it correctly and charge correctly. Now, I believe I hit most of the tax returns. I'm hoping I didn't forget any. I don't talk about Schedule Cs as much because you know about them. And the rest of the tax returns, truthfully, are self-explanatory. You do know that now you have ChatGPT, but even if you go online and Google how much you charge for a tax return in your area, and you put the form number in, you can find out how much you should be charging. Stop messing up the industry with these low rates. And those of you that are charging low rates, start learning because there's no way that you feel good doing all the work and charging these low rates that you're charging people to do tax returns. Even what do you call that? TurboTax is charging a lot more. And I'm not even gonna talk about the little what do you call those things? The franchise tax companies. They charge damn near $2,000 to do most of these business tax returns. Now, do I think it's fair? No, unless a client is over there in the millions. But again, it's called business taxes. When it comes to business taxes, you should know bookkeeping. With bookkeeping, you should know how to read your financial reports. And that's it in a nutshell. So, as I said, today I'm by myself. So, my plan is not to stay on all night. Plus, I am exhausted. I never work this late at night at 9:30, 10 o'clock. But again, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. Make sure, like I said, it's December 16th. December 16th. All these things need to be worked on now. Please work on them now. Send your clients, send them a bulk text, a bulk email, telling them it's year end and it's time to get all these things taken care of. Start figuring out how you can make extra money and help your clients at the same time. Then learn how to do business taxes. Learn what actually sets off an alert in any business tax return. Learn, like I'm going to constantly talk about auto and truck expenses. I'm constantly talking about this office deduction that everyone is just doing a simple calculation. I'm going to talk about mills because mills are another one of those that people do absolutely wrong. If someone sees that I see mills, they got mills of $1,000. Mills is $1,000. Absolutely not. There's a part of mills that's not deductible. Loans, I'm going to talk about on a regular basis because if someone gets a loan, the principal is not deductible, only the interest. Okay, this is year end. I'm telling you these things because it's time to look at them and true up by the end of the month. And actually, you got to about the 15th. I true up all the way to January 15th. And I'm telling you, with my business tax clients, if I don't have everything together by the middle of February, I automatically file an extension. File an extension. So it gives you time to work on these clients. And we all know the dates that everyone's tax returns are due. Partnerships and S corps. When do we do? The middle of March. And some C corps, everybody has different dates. Nonprofits, you got to look at it. They have different dates. You got to know when you're supposed to file these tax returns. Schedule C definitely has up until April 15th if it's on a weekday, I believe. If it's on a weekend, you know it pushes it a day. So, in a nutshell, let's rock out. We have a lot of things going on this season. We got to figure out if these employers actually did not tax their employees for the tips. This is going to be a mess. I like to see how we're going to figure this out. Have fun. Have fun. So, again, 30 minutes, that is my time. It's been 30 minutes of me just rambling, but I'm really just shooting off some gems to help you make money and help your clients during year end. Again, I am Michelle, the accountant, tax, and business coach. And if you have any questions, you can actually DM me, SMS me, text message 470-470-6088 if you have any questions. I know I spoke fast. The truth is, I'm just trying to get this over. And looking to actually educate at the same time. So send your questions over. I will answer them a little at a time tomorrow, not today. Um, if you have questions about year end, I actually think I have an ebook about year end. I will post that up tomorrow so you can know things that need to be done for your business tax clients for year end. You want to make sure you get those out. I have a payroll book. So those of you that work with S corps and you have no payroll being deducted now, it's time. It's time to get them set up now so that you can get them started for January. I have an ebook for that as well. And questions, I tell you all, is free. If you have a question, just post it up. If you don't want to post on Facebook, I hate DM, so that's why I don't know why I said DM, but you can definitely send a text in. Come into my Go High level and ask whatever questions you have, and I will answer them. And lastly, register for the January 7th and 8th workshop. This is the Profit Hers Walk in Profit, where we are going to go through these tax returns. We're going to make sure you can do an S Corp tax return. And I want to make sure you understand it's a simple tax return. We are not going through everything, but we will be able to help you get through, especially if you have clients that have income, gross income less than 250,000, and they're under the cap for assets. We can help you with a 1040 because we're going to work on a 1040, and we're going to throw some things in there to make sure you know what you're doing with this 1040. Again, this is a hands-on. You coming in with your computer and we working. You're going to be able to internet K1 scheduling, and then we're going to throw a LLC in there so that we can play around with a Schedule C tax return as well. All right. Again, Michelle, the accounting, tax, and business coach. I look forward to hearing from everyone. I look forward to seeing you in that course. It's only $350 for a 2-day, 4-hour each particular day. And again, my apologies for missing my 8 o'clock on Tuesday. I changed the day because of the holidays coming up. Next week, it'll be Tuesday at 8 o'clock again, and one more on the 6th. And then it's time to start this course. That will be the last course that I have regarding anything with taxes. As far as bookkeeping, I have the bookkeeping mentorship, aka membership, that is every single month. You get between 2 to 4 webinars about bookkeeping. You get co-working spaces. You get discounted one-on-ones. Listen, it's there for you. If you are interested, please jump in. If you are in Lawrenceville, part of that is first of all, that program is called DIWM, Doing It with Michelle, Entrepreneur Growth Academy. And I have a face-to-face in Lawrenceville once a month. This month is tomorrow, which is the third Wednesday of every month. But going forward, it is the second Wednesday of every single month. We go over bookkeeping face to face. There are weekly courses. There is co-working spaces. Join. All right. You all have a good night. It's been real, and it has been over 30 minutes. So I'll talk to you all soon. Again, reach out to me, 470-470-6088. I will answer any questions, and if you want any programs, I'll get you on those as well. Thank you again, and I'll speak with you all next week.